Honourable Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable Members of Parliament. Madam Speaker, I wish to speak on the topic strengthening special and inclusive education sector. Madam Speaker, Sustainable Development Goal 4 of the 17 goal focuses on quality education and aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. This goal requires all nations to make efforts to improve access to all levels of schooling so that all students, including those with disabilities, can participate in quality educational opportunities. The government of the day's free education scheme inculcates educational movement at all levels, including special needs education and education for children with disabilities. Education for students with special needs has been in existence in Fiji since the 1960s, when some Catholic Church schools, such as St. Joseph's Secondary School and Maris Brothers High School, enroll students with disabilities. However, students with severe or less visible disabilities such as hearing impairment and intellectual disability were still getting left out. In 1967, Fiji's first special school, Hilton Special School, was established by the Fiji Crippled Children's Society to provide education to children with severe physical and hearing impairments. Mr. Speaker, the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which has been effective from 2008, is an international human rights treaty which promotes education for all, specifically guiding nations to support the inclusion of children with disability in mainstream schools alongside their peers so that they have the opportunity to participate in quality education in an equitable way. This convention has aided to change people's view towards people with disabilities. The people with disabilities are no longer only seen as those in need of charity, medical management and protection, but are now fully accepted as full and equal members of the society. Madam Speaker, Fiji has a long history of commitment to education of children with disabilities, and special and inclusive education has been a vital component of our current Fijian education movement. The 2030 Constitution of the Republic of Fiji includes significant provisions for persons with disabilities, including the right to reasonable access to all places, public transport and information, sign language, braille and other means of communication, reasonable access to necessary material, substances and devices relating to the person's disability, reasonable adaptation of buildings, practices and procedures to enable their full participation in society, and the effective realization of the rights. Furthermore, the Constitution enshrines the rights of every person to early childhood, primary, secondary and further education. In addition, the right to access to quality education in local schools is supported by the various acts and captured in the Ministry of Education policy on effective implementation of special and inclusive education. Madam Speaker, substantial efforts of the Ministry of Education, Health and Arts, working together with development partners, including the Australian Aid Programme, has increased and improved educational options for children with disabilities. From 2015, our ministry has taken a number of transitional arrangements that was required to meet the critical needs of children with disability in schools. While special schools are a significant option for children with disabilities in Fiji, they are unable to support all children with disability. The special schools are located mainly in towns, areas, and thus, unless local schools are inclusive, access to education for children who live in the outer islands and rural areas is very limited, and therefore they often get left out. Including students with disabilities in mainstream schools, known as inclusive education, is therefore vital as it allows children to be educated within their neighborhood schools close to home and the schools that they would be attending if they did not have any disability. Madam Speaker, a child with disability is defined as one having sensory, physical, psychological and intellectual impairment which has caused a significant loss or reduction of the ability to participate in a regular educational program. The types and levels of impairment that we have in schools are diverse, and here are the ones prevalent in schools to mention a few: physical impairment, hearing impairments, speech and language impairments, physical impairments, intellectual impairments, specific learning disability, behavioral difficulties and emotional difficulties. In addition to the above, Madam Speaker, we also offer early intervention to young children with disabilities generally aged from birth up to 6 years. These services are provided at the Hilton Early Intervention Center, managed under the Hilton Organization, an operating branch of the Fiji Crippled Children's Society. The earlier the children's needs are identified and appropriate intervention measures taken, the better opportunity there is for the child to succeed in the next phase of learning. Madam Speaker, we have 17 special needs schools fully operational in Fiji. 15 special schools are classified under primary, 2 are classified under TEST, the vocational special school. Other than the 17 schools, 1 secondary school is fully fleshed out for the special needs, that is the Marist Champagne Institute, but classified under the secondary section, while Gospel School for Deaf is a private school. In addition, Madam Speaker, we have 25 inclusive schools where children with special needs are enrolled in and are being catered for. Out of these, 5 schools are supported by AQEP, the Australian Access to Quality Education Program, while 19 schools are supported by the Ministry of Education, Heritage and Arts under the Special Education Grant. The number of children in special needs who receive education in 2016 in the special schools was 1,025. And this year, the current roll has increased to 1,174 students, Madam Speaker. The increase has been as a result of Ministry of Education campaign to the parents for them to bring forward their children and enroll in these schools, both either if they're located close by in the urban area at the special schools or the designated inclusive schools, Madam Speaker, so that these children can be given a provided education as are other children. So, Madam Speaker, currently the roll is 1,174. Madam Speaker, apart from these special schools in the town area, let me list out the names of the 25 inclusive schools so that those who are listening out there may note this, and in case they need, they could go to these schools and take the children. Tagua District School. At the moment, there are 23 students studying there with special needs. Ratu Litniara Primary School, 9 students studying there with special needs. Arya Samaj Primary in Neni, 20 students. South Tavini Primary, 9. Andi Moapa Primary, 10. Kasabu Primary, 2. Nasiani Primary, 4. Mabudo Catholic, 1. Marcelin Primary School, 4. Namasau Methodist, 12. Navakawau Catholic School, 3. Nangali District School 3, Lobu Sangam School 1, Latoka Muslim Primary 1, Latoka Central Primary 1, Bulabo District 4, Sastri Memorial 2, Nakoromboya Primary 1, Rarawai FSC Primary 1, Ba Muslim Primary 1, Latoka Central College 4, Gospel High School 12, SBC 1, Neri SKM College 2, Mari Champagne Institute 124. Madam Speaker, Ministry of Education and Heritage Arts has been making efforts to strengthen inclusive education options for children with disabilities and their families across Fiji, while continuing to support the services that special schools provide children with particular and complex disabilities. The Ministry has been working with key stakeholders, particularly the parents, in getting them to fully involved in getting the children to school and supporting the educational development. Together with the Access to Quality Education Program, the Special and Inclusive Education Unit of the Ministry of Education, Heritage and Arts has been working since 2012 to introduce and test a model of inclusive education that allows children with disabilities to attend schools closer to their home. This has involved the establishment of the 5 inclusive education demonstration schools. Madam Speaker, the AQEP and the Ministry of Education have implemented a number of activities to support children with disabilities access to quality education in these schools. These activities have contributed to an increasing number of children with disabilities participating in schools closer to their home. In 2012, 6 children with disabilities attended these schools. In 2016, there are 84. Experiences from these schools have positively reflected our Ministry's efforts to establish additional inclusive schools across the country, Madam Speaker. And we are continuously talking to school management to assist us in ensuring that the infrastructure is fine-tuned so that it assists us in providing accessibility to these children while we provide these schools with specialized teachers and the teaching aids. Madam Speaker, A review of the initial Ministry of Education inclusive education policy was carried out in May 2015, where resources was highlighted as a priority need for improvement. The Ministry of Education, Heritage and Arts, through the endorsement of the inclusive education policy in December 2016, is now committed to progressively meet the needs of all schools of special needs children, and will do so in active partnership with parents and the community and the management as well. Madam Speaker, having completed the review, the disability education stakeholders had worked together to prioritize key areas of action for special and inclusive education. There are 5 key priority areas of action, which includes the following: development and implementation of school-level strategies, Ministry of Education leadership in the development of policies, standards and guidelines to promote and institutionalize inclusive education. 3, ensuring a relevant and responsive curriculum. 4, strengthening training for teachers. 5, provision of appropriate support needed to enhance education and training of students with disabilities. Madam Speaker, the demand for financial support of special needs child is relatively high compared to normal children in schools. In the past years, up to 2015, the grant distribution was based on the disadvantage formula, and every special school received an average of 27 to 32,000 per year only. Madam Speaker, this amount was realistically insufficient to cater for the genuine expenses of the special schools, particularly when different support was needed for different disability type. In simpler terms, per child expense varied from one child to the other, and definitely it was not the same as what normal school would get the per capita grant. So, Madam Speaker, in 2015, based on the needs-based analysis and based on the submission, the Ministry of Finance had double the grant that was initially given to the special school. Initially, prior to 2015, the grant that was given to special schools was 550,000 for all the special schools. And in 2016, this grant was doubled by the Ministry of Economy to 1.1 million, Madam Speaker. Thus, Madam Speaker, from 2016, we've been providing them, the special schools, 1.1 million grant, a boost that eased the hardship faced by the schools. Under this grant, an estimate of $500 per child was given relative to previously they used to receive $250 per child. Madam Speaker, we have also increased the salary allowance of our teacher aides from 3,000 per annum to 5,500 per annum, and sign language interpreters from 5,000 per annum to 7,000 per annum. We have given 4 new established positions to interpreters to ensure that students with hearing impairment in secondary schools receive proper lessons translated in sign language. We have also paid 2 Braille support workers to help Braille and de-Braille materials for students with visual impairments. Madam Speaker, the Disability Inclusive Education Handbook for Teachers is a resource created to enable teachers to improve inclusiveness of their schools and classrooms so that children with disabilities benefit from quality education alongside other children. The handbook contains general information about creating an inclusive school, information about a range of different types of disabilities, case studies, and a selection of reproducible resources. The handbook was designed for all schools in Fiji to assist them to be inclusive. The trained special education teachers find the handbook very useful, and this has been distributed widely to both special schools as well as inclusive schools. Madam Speaker, disability fact sheets have also been developed to complement the information given in the handbook. These user-friendly fact sheets are for information dissemination, highlighting the options available for education. Madam Speaker, we are also updating our information system database so that we can get detailed data on students via our information system so that we can take specific measures to deal with the students. Madam Speaker, we have implemented a number of activities to support children with disabilities access to quality education in inclusive schools, including the employment of teacher aides, training teachers and teacher aides in inclusive education, awareness raising sessions, regular mentoring and monitoring visits, renovation to schools to improve access and learning environment, provision of equipment such as Braille, white canes, desktop computers, JOS, the job access with speech software, sign language dictionaries, and water and sanitation activities. Madam Speaker, large-scale capacity building, capacity development programs have been undertaken in partnership with our 8 partners to train head teachers, inclusive teachers, district education officers, teachers and teacher aides. A total of 381 officers have been trained in 2015 and 2016 from various education districts. Madam Speaker, as I speak, we have now a workshop for all teachers in special schools being undertaken now in Suva. Madam Speaker, we have saved the best for the life. We are not ensuring that we mark and observe key dates and dates which was calendared internationally and specifically set aside for special needs and disability advocacy. During the last Parliament session, Madam Speaker, we celebrated on the 21st of March the World Down Syndrome Day, and on April 7, we observed the World Autism Awareness Day in Nandi, Madam Speaker. We also observed the International Day of Persons with Disabilities and other important dates to enshrine to every person that people with disabilities and special needs are important to national and global vision, and as such are all other people. We're also using other observances to reach out to people at large and make them aware of the diverse needs of people with disabilities and how they can contribute to support them. Madam Speaker, what we are emphasizing is that we should not concentrate on their disabilities. Let's concentrate on their abilities and how we can get them into the mainstream labour market, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Fijian education system is enjoying its golden era of progress and development. All children and Fijian people at large are given tremendous opportunities to access education and use that to attain lifelong success and prosperity. The inclusion of people with disabilities and special needs people into the mainstream educational goals, objectives and vision is in era we are investing into and pursuing relentlessly, and will continue to set high benchmarks of attainment. Madam Speaker, I wish to end with an emotional confession that came from a parent of a child with disability attending Fiji Vocational Technical Training Center. And let me quote, Rahul had learning disability. At the get-together at his home to celebrate his graduation diploma in IT, his father mentioned in his Thanksgiving speech how thankful his family is for all that Rahul has achieved. Rahul is currently doing his bachelor in IT, networking at FNU Nasinui campus. He is employed with visual electronics, works in the day and attends his class in the evening. He had just opened his own company, which goes by the name Rahul's IT Networking, specializing in PC upgrading, antivirus network, cabling, program installment, services, and many more. Madam Speaker, Rahul's parents have been given hope through the provision of education and the necessary resource support needed for the child to achieve his dreams. When children with special needs are appropriately supported, they live their dreams and in return become contributing members of society in a dignified and meaningful ways. Madam Speaker, our government will give the same support to all children with disabilities so that they can mainstream. Thank you. Thank you.
I now call on the Leader of Opposition, her designate, to speak in response.
Madam Speaker, I wish to thank the Honourable Minister for Education for his statement on strengthening special and inclusive education in Fiji. I fully support the initiative by the Honourable Minister in this area. But I believe there are some areas of concern, Madam Speaker, that I would like to highlight here. Madam Speaker, from my own observation, it seems that the Honourable Minister for Education is not working according to plan. And it's coming up with new initiative. Yesterday one, today another one, tomorrow, every now and then. And the Honourable Minister is running the ministry like a circus. And clearly shows that there is no plan, Madam Speaker. Laid out. And the Honourable Minister is running the ministry like a circus, and there is no plan laid out, Madam Speaker, which should be aligned to the overall strategies of government. And that leads to inconsistent and failing initiatives, like the introduction of tablets to students. Let me ask the Honourable Minister, Madam Speaker, this question. Do you have a plan? If so, are you following those plans on your own, or are your plans aligned to government plans?
Honourable Member, please address the Chair.
Madam Speaker, I feel sorry for his loyal and hardworking ministry staff who at the end of the day have to come up for all these ad hoc, unplanned activities due to poor planning. The total expenditure in the Ministry of Education, Madam Speaker, in 2015, the budget showed an increase of expenditure of 21 million, which is about 5.6% compared to the 2014 budget. Madam Speaker, this increase in expenditure clearly shows very poor planning. Therefore, I urge the Honourable Minister for Education, Madam Speaker, to have more consultations with education stakeholders and his senior staff to assist in drawing up a workable plan. Although this initiative, Madam Speaker, is commendable, there is a lot of doubt on how it is to be implemented, especially its financial implications. In 2015, Madam Speaker, the Finance Ministry approved the writing off the sum of 49,000. And this indicated a lack of poor review, monitoring and supervision of reconciliations prepared by the Ministry for Education. And it is our hope that budgetary provisions will be utilized well and not written off. Madam Speaker, as I mentioned earlier, I fully support the idea of assisting and strengthening the special and inclusive education sector. But it is important to note that students with special needs, Madam Speaker, needs our attention, and they are not only found in urban areas, but also in remote areas as well. Networking with Tikina and provincial councils will be crucial if you are to identify these students for enrollment. The Honourable Minister for Education, Madam Speaker, must ensure that all schools must provide at least some space for students with special needs. In order to do that, Madam Speaker, I'm telling you now so that you can do it. The Honourable Minister must ensure that schools are provided with proper funding to facilitate the need for inclusion of students with special needs. All schools need to provide the proper facilities which are disabled friendly, Madam Speaker, and to address the need for inclusiveness, even though we have 17 schools and 25 inclusive schools at present. Madam Speaker, in order to further strengthen the sector of education, there is also a need to look at the teacher-student ratio of all special and inclusive schools, taking into consideration the situation the teachers are facing in dealing with disabled students, depending on the severity of the disability. Madam Speaker, there is also a need for the Honourable Minister to upgrade the salaries of teachers who deal with special students, considering the nature of the teaching that occurs in special and inclusive schools. We all understand that students with disabilities need special attention and extra care. This need extra commitment by the teachers thus justifies the need for salary upgrade. One more minute. The Honourable Minister should also consider providing the in-service training for these teachers, Madam Speaker. And in conclusion, Madam Speaker, there must be a clear pathway in the curriculum for students to tertiary institutions and to employment opportunities later in life. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I now call upon the Leader of the National Federation Party on his designate.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Minister for his statement. In fact, I wholeheartedly agree that the state must continue to support the 17 special schools and the 25 inclusive schools in the country. And I also acknowledge the fact that the budget was increased for special and inclusive schools. That is also commendable, Madam Speaker. These measures, as we are all aware, Madam Speaker, are necessities and state obligations now that we have ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And obviously it flows from the Constitution as well. However, Madam Speaker, these updates from the government are welcome, and I note that the Honourable Minister has a number of initiatives. I think that those are appropriate, and his attempts to ensure that the facilities available to this school is also welcome. I also think, Madam Speaker, that there is a necessity also for a timeline for when Fiji can hope to have not only equitable and accessible education for all, but also some targets by when education will be mainstream for our young ones,
these special and inclusive schools, and I think Minister did indicate some positive steps that his ministry is taking. And Madam Speaker, it will be a great day for our students when they can welcome in their classrooms learners with special needs as one of their own, and certainly see in them or see them as equal to everyone else. I think that would be a great day, and I think that is the dream that every country has, every society has, every parent of disability, children with disability has. So I think that is absolutely important. Madam Speaker, I'm also reminded of the long-held concerns of persons with disabilities, and that is that decisions or policies or strategies being made for them, but without them at the table. And I hope that the Minister will ensure that the people with disabilities, students with disabilities, and their parents are consulted at all times, and their views as to how they could be put into inclusive schools and how they could be dealt with in special schools is very, very important. Because without their support and without them participating in the whole process of making sure that children with disabilities actually perform and achieve outcomes, learning and teaching, especially learning outcomes, that will put them through and provide them with some sustainable future. Therefore, Madam Speaker, it is my sincere hope that the government, of course under the current Minister's leadership, when charting these inclusive education measures, firmly uphold that persons with disabilities are actually driving these initiatives and certainly advocating on their own, which to me, Madam Speaker, would tell a much more compelling truth. So in conclusion, Madam Speaker, I wholeheartedly support the initiatives and the plans and policies that the Ministry of Education has with respect to special education, special schools, and I would encourage the Minister to look at this whole idea of inclusive schools much more, with much more urgency and detail, so that we can achieve that in the shortest possible time. Thank you, Madam Speaker.